to main scene, and
yes, it's pointed at the TV. And you're on main scene, so now they can hear you.
I'm good to go?
We'll see.
I'm on a delay.
Okay, but can you see me on the computer right now?
Yeah, like I can physically see you there, but he can't see
You should be good. I still got 34 seconds of video.
Okay.
I see you. You're back.
All right. Okay. Let's try this again. We're having some YouTube complications here today. Hello, Jen. This is Wednesday, October 15th of 2025. And Tech Talk is something we do live every Wednesday at 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. We're here to talk about Jeeps and everything related to Jeeps. So it's going to be an interesting show, I can already tell. So
I can't hear you.
you can't hear me? No? Am I registering on the mic up there?
Okay, I got it. I got it.
Oh, now you hear me.
Yeah.
Just all of a sudden?
Yeah.
You didn't hear the whole first part?
Oh, no, I'm good. Got it.
Okay.
YouTube problems today.
Yeah. Okay, so Tech Talk is something we do live, which is full of bugs and errors and all kinds of crazy stuff that makes me question my wisdom and sanity. Anyways, let's see. If you have a comment, you can type it in as a question, and Jennings will read that back to us. So we'll see how that goes. And if you would please subscribe to the GenRight YouTube channel, we'd sure appreciate that as well. That way you'll get your notifications when we do go live. And yeah, thanks for joining us. I appreciate it. It's been a heck of a day so far. Yesterday I was down in San Diego for a Jeep night down there, and didn't get back till really late, so that was craziness as well. So Jen, maybe you can tell us who we got watching so far.
Yeah, they're all moving back over. So
Yeah.
you have the best fans. You have the best customers. I just want to say that.
Yeah, they are awesome.
Jeremy Crumbly says, "What's up, everyone?"
Nice.
Richard Peterson, Cole Osmondson, JC Cologne, Two Feather Channel, Matt McDonough, Jerome Balky. Hey guys.
Hey guys.
Richard Peterson. Oh, they're all saying like they have multiple streams have failed in the last, today stuff. So it's not us.
Good.
Adam Vowell says hello from Denver. Robert
Nice.
Lavoie says hello from Whittier. Troy Merritt says hello. Stephen Draper says hello there, GenRight gang. It was awesome meeting you all at Trail Hero.
Nice.
G Per Ginger says, hi guys, just finally got on. Okay, that's good. Bill Potter says hi. Craig Huffman says I made it. George Files says hi. Jeep Adventures. Josh says looks so fun, so much fun. We're doing it again. Gary Williams checking in at the Veteran Building in Mustang, Oklahoma.
Nice.
Randall Walker's also in Mustang, Oklahoma in the shop.
Wow.
Michael says hello, GenRight. Rick Turner said, yay, we made it. Anthony Chevalier says, hey, GenRight Nation. Trail Team 7 says, hey, GenRight crew. Craig Huffman said, subscribe to Chasing Sunsets. Thanks, Craig. Anthony Chevalier, sorry I'm late. No, don't be.
You didn't miss anything.
CTLT1 says, hi from Las Vegas, Kurt. Jeep Adventure, Callie, Addie, and Kim. Oh,
Wow. All right. Awesome.
Michael Costin says hi. High Ground JL, David Rice. Thanks for visiting San Diego last night.
You're welcome.
Bill Potter said that desk was like a kidney killer with that short, sharp corner.
Yeah. Well, we've got our budget TJ here, so there's not a lot of room. We're kind of squishing everything in right now.
A bunch more people are still
Jumping on.
logging on
Good.
and joining. Gary Williams has a question about the LJ roll cage we're working on.
Okay.
He says, can we use the harness bar with the factory seats? Planning on using the factory seat for now. We'll upgrade to an aftermarket seat and harness later.
Okay. Yeah. That's what we're doing right here. So
Can we use the harness bar with the factory seats?
Yeah, James, swing right here and show them. Right there. That's as factory a seat as you get right there.
Gary
You can see it.
Williams, Javier Oliveras,
Yeah.
and a whole bunch more.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Well, then I'm going to go ahead and get started. Let's see what we have for slides here, because this is a little bit of a mystery to me. Okay, so today's show, we're actually going to be talking about the progress we've made on the budget TJ, as well as whatever questions you all have and want to funnel into us. And what's happening around here. So what's happening around here, James, I don't know if you can pan over, and including the stuff that I'm wearing. We've got brand new sweatshirts, t-shirts. This is back.
Pull it down. Bring them over.
Pull them down.
Because I'm restricted.
Gotcha. Okay. So looks like Jamie went back to our GenRight logo here, and it is our 20-year anniversary, so we're celebrating that. These hoodies are just in, so we were selling those last night, and people love this whiskey shirt. So this is back. So that's come back. Can you see these ones, James?
Yep.
So we've got a few different styles here, including the sweatshirt as well, that we still have some left. So including the shirt that I'm wearing, which is, I'm not sure what's on the back, but I threw it on in a hurry. So all that's in stock now, shipping immediately. So sorry for those of you that waited. I showed all the new hats on last show, so hopefully you caught that. The other thing I was going to mention is our resource page is up on our website. James, where's that located? That resource page?
Company on the far right.
Yep.
And then it says links and resources.
Oh, links and resources is the drop down for that. So yeah, that's there. And I think it's also located in the Tech Talk page as well. I don't know. I think we put it in both spots. So that's up so that you guys can see who we use for powder coating, who we used for rebuilding the transmission. And it also has Sergeant Jeep's contact information on there for used Jeep parts. So you can check that out. And then
Jerome asked, is the new apparel available in bigger sizes, 4 or 5X? Will you be bringing apparel to 4x4 night Friday?
we will be bringing apparel to 4x4 night.
I think we got 4X.
He thinks we got 4X. So,
I have to dig through the
but I'll make sure we bring some of the bigger stuff, whatever we got. Okay.
BB Tom says, I need that whiskey in a long sleeve.
Oh, see?
Someone else said that today.
Well,
Randall Walker says,
I had a long sleeve on earlier, and I stretched this T-shirt over it, and it was like, nah, I better just wear the T-shirt. So it actually turned out to be, it was cold yesterday, but it turned out to be pretty nice today. So yeah, what do we have in long sleeves right now? We have that one, this one.
Red, white, and blue.
Yeah, this isn't really white. It looks pretty white. It's a heather. And it's a nice color because it doesn't get dirty very easy. That is available in a long sleeve.
It is, I do think we should do some long sleeves of like the whiskey or that.
Yeah.
You know, so that's
Okay.
That's kind
Well,
of
the good news is the T-shirt guy is standing right behind the camera and he's hearing everybody loud and clear. Okay.
Jerome asked, any plans for zipper sweater jackets this winter?
Everybody always wants whatever we didn't make. But yes, he can.
Tell him maybe.
We know we have to do another run before Christmas, right?
The
So,
ladies have been
yeah.
asking for a new shirt for like a year and a
and the
half.
ladies, yes. I sold a lot of ladies stuff last night, so. Yeah.
Well, we haven't had anything new in like years.
Okay.
Wait, is Jennings the lady that's asking?
No, there's other ladies asking, right? Not just you?
Yeah. Oh yeah, tons.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
We could do that.
Okay. Let's see. What's our next slide?
Wait, question.
Okay.
For Do you have a shop recommendation I could use to install your roll cage in the Phoenix, Arizona area?
Heck yeah.
2017 JK.
Heck yeah. Campbell Enterprises over in Gilbert. And they've
Isn't Venture Off-Road too or whatever?
they are. I don't know that they're as versed in the cages as Campbell is. So, but Campbell's already done one of our JL cages, so a JK is going to be like a no-brainer.
We ran into Venture Off-Road guys that had GenRight parts on the GenRight channel at that Christmas trip that Josh
Yeah,
and I
just
went
take that
on
away.
badge collecting through Arizona.
Get out of
We
there,
were like,
Winston.
"How are they
Winston.
on the GenRight channel?"
And then Austin, right outside, is a white plastic bag with some 2x4s in it. Would you grab that for me? I meant to grab that. That's going to be my today's tech tip, so I'm getting there.
Zipper hoodies, long sleeves, and women's is being requested. A lot
Excellent.
right now.
Okay, we can definitely handle that. Yeah, just bring that right over here. Okay, so one of my tech tips today is I wanted to show everybody. I take old lumber that I have laying around, and I want you guys to think about making a slight lift, which is super stable for your jack stands. So what you're going to do though is you're not just going to stack them like I'm doing. You're actually going to glue and screw or nail these together. But you know, you can take what was just scrap wood and build
Wait,
something like this up. Wait, what?
I have a thing that ads are showing up. So, Jamie, can you go to OBS and there's like a thing that says turn on or dismiss the ads at the top, and you can dismiss them for 10 minutes at a time. I
Oh
don't.
boy.
Yeah, if you could do that, they're annoying.
You?
Through OBS or YouTube?
Through YouTube or OBS?
She said OBS.
Oh, sorry, YouTube.
YouTube. He was about to press buttons that weren't pressable.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah.
mess it up.
See anything about ads?
Something about pause ads for 10 minutes at a time or something.
Pause.
Yep, he
Or
got it.
dismiss them.
10 minutes,
Okay, perfect.
done.
If you-
Okay, so does that mean everybody missed what I was saying?
Yes, start over because the ads are so annoying. Yeah.
Okay. And is there still a jack stand like right there? Yeah. Okay. So I wanted to show everybody, this is my tech tip for today. When you're in building your big lifted Jeep, I want you to be able to take, if you don't have leftover wood laying around, this was scrap from a shed that we tore down. You can just go down and buy some inexpensive 2x4s or 2x6s or whatever you got, and you can make a little lift for this base is very sturdy. Instead of running this thing all the way up to hold your Jeep, you're going to glue and screw or nail this together. But this kind of a wood block, and you can build this up higher, but this is super stable. And this is a great way for you guys that are doing things at home, in your garage or on the floor, to build and do something that's more stable. So my tech tip today is take some old lumber, build a few of these things, and have them around, and then you're going to be able to work on your Jeep a lot more safely. So, all right, just get that back out of the way, and we will continue on. So that's my tech tip. All right, next.
Josh said, wait, what about what we did this last weekend with using wood to jack up Ginger's Jeep?
No, that was completely unsafe. And I'm not going to show people how to do that. It was so sketchy. Josh is like, I'm not sure I'm comfortable with you under there, Tony. I'm like, I'll be fast. So, you know me, I live fast and take chances. So,
Yeah, that brings to mind that giant patio cover and that sketchy 12-foot tall.
yeah. Yeah. Okay. Austin, I'm going to ask you to go grab one more thing. Under the back seat of my truck is that rocker extension piece that I cut up. Would you grab the 3 pieces that are there and bring them into me? What's that?
We have those somewhere.
No. I mean, there's one at the end of the workbench right here. You know, like a long piece. Would you grab that for me, James? The silver workbench right there. And a lot of people don't know this, but we make a formed piece of rocker that's an extension. So for those of you that are doing a stretch, but your rockers are too short, you can buy this piece from us. And we sell it in, this one happens to be the boat side shape, but we also sell it in the original, you know, like square rocker style, which he's going to bring into me right now. Yeah, so this comes in one piece and you cut it and it gives you two pieces, which is what Austin's bringing over to me right now, like this.
Kathy McCabe says, do what Tony says, not what he does.
Yeah.
That should be his own shirt.
Yeah. Okay, so if you look here, this is the two, right? You have opposing sides, two extensions for a stretched, in this case it's an LJ, but if you were doing a TJ or whatever you need, we sell this piece inexpensively. You cut it up, you re-weld it, you just weld it onto whatever rocker you have, smooth it out and paint it, and nobody will know the difference. And it'll save you a bunch of money and work from having to unbolt rockers and rebolt them and trim them and do all that. You just add on to the back of the rocker and nobody will know the difference. So I've mentioned this several times to customers and they go, oh man, I didn't even realize you made that. Well, we do, and they are in stock and available. The other thing I was going to talk about, but I didn't grab any, was door bags for the new TJ doors. So we do make door bags, and I forgot to tell you to put a picture or grab me a bag, but it gives you extra storage inside the Jeep. And swing this way, James, for a sec. So the new TJ doors have a little structure that gives you some built-in storage, you know, so you can tuck some things in there. But we also sell a door bag that goes on over the top of this that gives you additional storage. And for those of you that haven't seen this door, it's actually got a little handhold on the inside for you to close the door. And there is a spot on here also to mount the stop, you know, the little nylon stop. We haven't put them on yet. We just dropped these on right before the show. So, but yeah, those are super nice if you haven't seen them. And we showed a lot of people those out at Trail Hero, and a lot of our guys were running them out of Trail Hero. So those are our featured products. Okay. Oh, now we have pictures of the shirts.
Daniel.
Yeah.
2017 Jeep JKU installed the GenRight rear sway bar and drilled and tapped the arm 1 inch from the edge, flexed the front and back with a forklift, and can't get the last 2 inches of rear flex before bump. Is the sway bar too stiff?
So first off, you know, the sway bar is made of spring steel. So it's going to continue to work and soften, so to speak. So I would give that thing a chance to kind of break in. By the way, everything flexes more on the trail than you can duplicate, you know, sitting still with a forklift or in your shop. So I would try and run it and let it break in a little bit. But in general, you do need to understand that a sway bar will limit your flex. That is, you're tying the two wheels together. It's a big part of why I talk about that Terremoto doesn't have a sway bar, because it lets the thing just go through the rocks or bumps or whatever is out there. So that's ultimately what you want to work toward. Okay.
And then Michael asks, is that 1/8 inch, I think, from the part you were showing?
Oh, no, these are 3/16. So this is it's really just a short piece of your rockers. If he's asking about the doors are 1/8 inch. So just not sure which part he was referring to.
Okay, and Hunter said, I have a 2010 JKU with 6.0 LS, Terraflex long arm rear. I'm having issues with torque steer going 60. I get on the gas and it wants to shoot to the driver's side, same letting off. Would motor and transmission not being perfectly straight cause this?
Actually, it's probably worn or completely blown out joints. So he's getting some rear steer. And you wouldn't normally see that, but when you have that kind of power, you're going to get that on and off the gas. And because you're on and off, then the things slack out or compress, and that's pretty common. Now that will be accentuated if they have a Detroit locker. That's going to be a whole nother aspect. But he definitely needs to take a close look at all the joints on the arms to make sure they're not sloppy or the bolts are loose or something worse. So, but yeah, if that happened on my Jeep, I'd be parking it and getting underneath it to check it out for sure.
Sonic did that when one of the axles got bent.
Right.
Well, like that.
And sometimes it means a bracket's ripping off. Like you have like one or two times that you can experience that and go like something feels wrong before something really goes wrong. So
yeah, I remember that they were like, "Don't drive it."
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, you definitely investigate that. That is not like wine; it will not get better with time. All right.
Jason says the best way to break in a sway bar is to jump the railroad tracks.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
That's probably it's gonna lead to blown out joints, I can tell you that. Jamie's over here smiling.
He says, I just finished my GenRight rear sway bar last week. I love it. And thanks, Tony, I have a Grizzly locker.
Okay. So the Grizzly is a Detroit. So, so he needs to really look at those joints or brackets, make sure that nothing's coming loose. But, when he gets on it, it's driving both tires. So whatever direction that rear axle's pointed in, that's the direction that thing's going to go. What else would make a little bit of difference is if his tire pressure's not the same on both sides, one wheel's going to be a little bigger than the other, and that's going to push too. So those are all little details that are accentuated by a bunch of horsepower and torque. So when you got the little tiny V6 in there, nothing's happening very fast. It's kind of like flying a Cessna.
Troy says the TJ half doors have gotten all kinds of compliments.
Those things are awesome. We don't have the armrests on ours, do we? No, but they're very nice. I think Jamie likes his, right, Jamie?
I love them.
He loves them.
And I got
yeah.
mine like wrapped like carbon on.
Oh, that's right. He had the outside wrapped to match his Jeep, and then he wrapped the inside with like carbon fiber wrap stuff. It looks killer. I think there's some pictures on the website of that even.
I think so.
Yeah. So.
Keith Niesis asked, in the future, is anything in the works for a JT cage?
Definitely. That's on the list for one of the future projects for sure. So James, this appears to be the last picture. Oh no, there we go. It's just this thing is like slow.
And then it's stage one.
I know. That's what I'm trying to get to. When people start asking me about.
Two more slides. That slide.
Okay. So when everybody's asking me about what we're working on, this is all consuming right here. When you talk about one part like a cage, that's nothing compared to a complete suspension and steering system that have to work together. So we've finally gotten to the end of this. And parts are being produced now, and then we will start putting them on and testing them and doing all that stuff. So, but because of our experience with the JK Stage 1, we're confident the JL is going to be even better. And if this thing will move for me. Here we go.
Can we pause the ads again?
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, they just did.
Okay, thanks. And Rick Turner asked, are we ready for the initial base run for the budget TJ yet?
We are. So we're going to get to that in just 1 second here, okay? So this, I want to show, I just have a few things to show you guys. This is a teaser about the JL. So this is at full compression. And then we've got, if the slides will switch. Okay, also full compression, just a different angle, but you can see the flat belly. You can see there's nothing that hangs down, not a arm, nothing. Here it is, fully flexed out. So this is getting 14 inches of travel front and rear. This is insane. So this is really, really good. And that's our new steering system on there that uses the brand new Rock Jock high steer knuckles. So, and I have another angle I want to show you here because you're going to see something else if this slide will change.
Craig Huffman asked, is the track bar as flat as possible at ride height? Can cause some issues under acceleration.
Yeah, well, the track bar needs to be as flat as possible. Like everything needs to be set up at ride height, and it does need to be as flat as possible. And it needs to match the drag length. So there's all of these things are not just one thing. They all have to work together. So that's why we do our stuff as a system. So part of what I wanted to point out here is that you'll notice these control arms do not hang down. This whole thing has been done. It was designed using the Fox 2.5 IBPs with the Fox air bumps. This thing has it. You know, it is again a step up even from our JK stage 1. The JL stage 1 is even better. We were able to get things done in there, and this thing is amazing. Nothing short of amazing. So. That's full droop, yeah. Yeah.
VB Tom says, Janie, we need long sleeve SPF shirts.
Yeah, we do.
Okay.
Here's another angle where you can see the rear mounted gas tank and everything.
For apparel.
Yeah, I know. Everybody's jumping in on that. So I think that's it that we had on pictures for that. Okay. All right. So now we're ready to.
Question.
Okay.
Tony, I have a 98 TJ with a 2-inch lift on 35s. Is there a lot of work to stretch the front 2 to 3 inches? I have a Dana 30 with stock steering. What do you recommend?
Well, if you have stock stuff, it's a lot of work to do anything. So we're going to slide the camera over right now, and I'll look at the front end of this little tiny TJ right here with the same size tire this gentleman's talking about. And hang on, I'm going to get that light. Go ahead and get over there, Jamie. Oh, no, just unplug it. Here. There you go. It's got enough juice. Okay. So, couple things here. So the gentleman that wants to move his front end forward, this right here is the limiting factor. So unless you're ready to cut this off and move it forward and re-weld it, which I recommend if you're willing to cut this off, you better go to coilovers. Do not spend the time to remount this stock junk. Just throw this away and get yourself some coilovers, okay? But you can see the proximity here. You know, it's only like 1.5 inches, maybe 2 inches from the sway bar, so that's got to go. Like you're talking about a lot of relocation stuff. So it's a great question. And, you know, I like the fact that you're thinking about this stuff, but that you're talking about big projects. And you really need to call in and talk to my guys or spend some more time on our website and look at things like the Legend Kit, because the Legend Kit will allow you to slide this front end forward if you use our twisted pitman arm up to 4 inches. And, you know, then you got to start asking yourself, okay, is it time to switch to a 44? I've got to make a new drive shaft. I've got to, you know, do some other things. There's a lot of things that need to happen. So, and my guys can help you with all that. But you're thinking the right way. You definitely want to stretch these things out. So, all right, more questions, or can I move on to where we're at with this thing?
Couple more. Jerome asks, is the front part of JL Stage 1 possibly able to work on a JT front end also?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yep.
And then Rick Turner asks, how much of the JL Stage 1 could you use on the budget TJ? Asking for a friend who may also have some JL axles to install in his TJ.
Gotcha. Okay, so just because we're using JL axles doesn't mean that any of that stuff applies to this. So what we're going to use on this is all TJ based stuff that we already make and sell. It's readily available. So we're going to get into that. And I'm trying to be careful about how I talk about this vehicle, because I don't want to jump ahead and confuse people. We've already got people confused about some of the aspects of what we're trying to do with this thing. So my plan tonight was to kind of back up and say, okay, here's where we're at, here's what we're going to do, and kind of move forward with all that, okay? So let's kind of back up, James, zoom out, and let's talk in principle about what we've done on this thing, okay? So we built the cage, we got it back from powder coat, and we installed it. Then we put the seats back in, the center console, basically the interior. Once that was in, seat belts, the aluminum roof, the filler plate, which connects the roof to the windshield frame. Then we put our doors back on now that we had the rest of the interior, and we threw the doors, our new half doors, back on. In addition to all that, we finally installed our fuel pump access plate. I don't know if James can get over here. And I just left my light over there, so I don't know if it's bright enough. You can lift that too, right? Or maybe, yeah, if you come here. Is that better?
Hey now.
There we go. Okay, so for those of you that aren't familiar with this, you just cut out a section of the floor, and then our little kit mounts inside here. So when you pull this plate, you've got complete access to the fuel pump. So that would allow you to actually pull the fuel pump completely out without dropping the tank. So, the way your Jeep currently is, you have to drop the tank. It's a big pain in the butt, which requires removing all the hoses and electrical and everything. So, this solves a lot of problems. This is something I've wanted to do and offer for like 10 years, and it is one of my favorite products. I think it's only 159 bucks, so everybody should have one of these for sure, okay? So in addition to that, while we were underneath this thing putting the transmission in, we re-welded the upper control arm bracket and the track bar mount back on, so that's now on there. And just like I said, we put the rebuilt transmission in. Now, one of the things I want to mention is if I knew we were going to keep this Jeep and run it the way that we are, I probably would have spent a little bit more money. So I told you I paid $3,500 for this, right? But if I had spent like $5,000, I probably could have gotten one with lower miles. Maybe that somebody took a little better care of, that actually put oil in the transfer case instead of the dry one like I had. But I was having a conversation with some of the guys that work here, and they were asking, like, well, why are we doing it this way? Well, I'm trying to do it this way to show everybody what you can do with a budget, right? Like that you don't have to blow the bank and spend a ton of money like we normally do on a Jeep to build it up with big axles and everything. We can build this Jeep in a way for minimal dollars to go run the Rubicon and be plenty beefy and strong and survive well out there on the trail, which is part of the reason we got those 392 JL axles, right? Because those already have lockers, already have good gears. Like there's a lot of things that just mean, okay, I don't need to break into these things. All I got to do is modify some of the brackets and they can go right underneath this thing. So there's a lot of good things that you could do if that's all you want to do. Now, if your plan is to go to 60s or 1 tons or something at some point, then that's where you have to ask yourself, like, do I do this intermediate step and then do another step? A lot of that depends on your budget, how much time you have. So those are part of the questions if you called in here, we'd be asking you. So because we want to know what your end goal is, or Maybe you just need to talk to somebody like me or one of my guys that knows how to get to the end goal the right way, right? There's a lot of people that try and advise you to do this, do that, whatever. Well, their end goal isn't the same standard that we have, okay? And I don't know about you, but when I first got into Jeeping, what I wanted to know was the right way to do something, okay? And if you're not familiar, GenRight is short for Genuine Ideas Engineered Right, okay? So I'm always trying to say, look, tell me the right way to do it, and then I'll decide whether I have the budget to do that, or the time, or the energy, or effort, or whatever, right? And then I can step back from that knowing that when it blows up in my face, that I should have done it right, okay? But if you never talk to anybody that's done it right, then you're never gonna know what that is, right? So, and by the way, last night at the Jeep meet, and every day on the phone, and every time I'm at Trail Hero or one of these events, all I do is meet people that say, Tony, I wish I would have found you sooner, okay? Because they're 3, 4, 5 times their build into their Jeep, and they've already spent more than what it would have cost them to do it the first time with GenRight, okay? So hopefully I'm catching whoever's watching this right now, and you can do it right the first time. And that's really the goal behind this whole program, is to dispel a lot of the BS that's out there and show you guys the right way to do it. Okay, all that said, this thing is now ready to go do our baseline run. So I've got a lot on my plate. I can't get to it for a couple weeks, but yeah, we're supposed to be out at the Hammer soon. We've just got a lot of things going on. So yeah, as soon as I've got the time, I'm going to take this thing out for the baseline run and show you what a relatively stock or limited Jeep can do on stock axles and stuff. And then what we're going to do is we're going to start building it, and then we'll show you what something a little bit more advanced can do, and hopefully it makes sense of why we're doing these things, and that you can then put your head around it. I know Jennings, after she drove her Jeep with the stage 1, she was like, oh, this is what it's supposed to feel like. So
I was ready to sell the Jeep.
I know she was done. She had
I put too much time and effort, and it just never seemed right.
Right. Right. And then what happened was she took it to 3 or 4 different shops. They sold her parts. They told her, this is going to fix it. This is going to be the greatest thing. Remember, like,
every one of my girlfriends has also
had the same thing. Yes. A lot of people. Yes. Years of it. Okay. So again, that's why I started this show, because I see a lot of this stuff happening, and what it does is it burns people out when you're just trusting these people on the other side of the counter, and they're not getting you what you need. The problem is that they don't live, eat, and breathe it like I do, okay? We're the ones that were racing. We're the ones that, like, I'll be honest, until I raced King of the Hammers, I didn't even know what was possible. Like how fast you could go, how big the shocks could get, like what dampening was. It changed my view, and it made me say, okay, I want to bring that back down to what we're doing in a Jeep, because I don't want to cuss at my Jeep every time I drive it. I want to be like, this thing's badass. And it's the closest thing I can get to a full race car. That's what I want. So if you're watching this and you have that same kind of a goal, then you're at the right place. We're going to be able to get you there or somewhere close. What's that?
Well, we were all just wanting to do like regular little trails, like nothing like you do, and we still couldn't do that. We still had breaks every single time, and spending tens of thousands buying the same parts over and over. It's really frustrating.
Well, okay, so number one, their first mistake was that they were trying to do all these things in their Jeep on all the factory brackets. Those are the first things that need to go. They're thin, they're weak, they get bashed, and every time you hit them, it's like putting a crescent wrench on one. You're just whittling it back and forth till it breaks off, okay? So that's what you're doing out there on the trail. And until you understand that, you just got to cut that stuff off. And the parts that we sell are twice as thick, and they're rotated or something about them is modified, including larger bolts and all these kinds of things that you need when you start running bigger and bigger tires. Don't forget, your Jeep was designed for a 32-inch tire, okay? When you start putting 37s, 40s, like the amount of load on those, the undercarriage parts is tremendous, okay? It's like you just got a pry bar and you're down there just cranking on all this stuff. Not to mention if you put on ram assist steering and, you know, all these things, you've got so much power that you've taken away the feel of things, and you can definitely do a lot of damage, okay?
You have an unusual...
Yeah, right, but people do.
There right now.
People do.
No. Right now, I'm in Bali on the porch of my hotel, and there's a monkey listening to you talk on speaker.
Yeah, he's interested, huh? That's funny.
Yes, he's listening.
That's funny.
What is this intriguing voice? What are you talking about?
He's very interested in building a Jeep. He can understand somebody that knows what they're talking about.
He's like 10 feet away just watching.
That's funny. Okay, so what other questions have we got? I've said a lot, and I need people to process that.
Okay, Anthony asked, what's for dinner?
Oh, God. I don't know. I haven't even gotten that far.
Probably nothing, because I'm not there. Okay, Jerome asked, 2006 TJ wheel question. I have a 4-inch long arm kit and 488 gears, wanting 17s and 35 by 12.5 by 17. What backspace offset should we look at?
He's probably looking at like a 3.5, 3 3/4, something right in that range. Because he's got to go out a little bit to clear the bigger tires. Otherwise, what's going to happen, which is what's happening on this, when you turn, they rub on the control arms. So not to mention, you know, other stuff as well. But you need to minimize how badly they rub on the control arms. So, and by the way, that's how I discovered that the rear track bar bracket was broken off, because I saw on the inside fender well, one side was rubbing, and I went and looked at the other side, and the other side's not rubbing. Well, that means the axle's not in the middle of the Jeep, so yeah. All right, what else you got?
Glenn B, do the TJ rear corner guards go through a different process than other aluminum panels? The set I have has a different finish than the raw aluminum front highlines.
Yes. Okay. So the rear panels are. Let's back up. Okay. So the material we make the corner guards out of is 6061 T651. Okay. Many of the other parts or materials that we use on the Jeep are 6061 T6. Okay, 651 is heat treated and stretch straightened. Okay, so the corner guards go through a different process, which gives them a little bit different finish. Now, if you want the same finish on there, all you need to do is get one of our burgundy Scotch-Brite pads, and you can grain it, or you can rub it around in a circular pattern and make it look like whatever you want, hide stuff. But yeah, if you just want to run it on there, you can also use, like 400 grit sandpaper or even, heavier grit. If you want to match all the finishes of the aluminum, you can. You absolutely can. But that is a common question. Some people will even call us and say, hey, how do I get rid of the lettering? Because we leave it on there where it says 6061 T651. That can come off with acetone or brake cleaner. We'll wipe it right off. And some people polish them. That's right. So if you're going to polish them, then you want the finish that we've supplied it to you with, because you're really close to having it polished. If you start to grain it, you're going the opposite direction from polish. So you just need to realize that. Okay. What else you got?
Jeremy Scott says, hi, Tony. For JL models with VVT, I assume VVT affects exhaust timing from the engine. My question, how important is the requirement to have equal length pipes from both sides of the engine?
So, the equal length pipe thing is ideal. However, you do need to realize that when we start modifying these Jeeps, sometimes to achieve some of those things is one of the concessions that you make, right? So it's more important to me to have larger shocks and longer travel than it is an even exhaust. So I may shorten the one side or reroute it or do something. Now we're cognizant of that stuff, and we try and do a minimal amount of change on that, even when we reshape things or reroute them. But you just do the best you can. It's one of the many compromises or concessions that you have to make when you're modifying a Jeep like we do. Yep. What else you got?
Michael Costin asks, on the JL Stage 1, is the 14-inch flex at the shock or at the wheels?
At the wheel. That's 14-inch travel at the wheel. Yep. Good question.
Everybody's saying they wish they'd found GenRight in the beginning.
See?
Same.
Man, if I just had a nickel for every time I heard that, I'd be a rich man.
The monkey just said he agrees. He's going to start with GenRight.
Oh, man. What else you got?
Laura said, I'll be using the Scotch pads on some rub marks I put on Sydney's Jeep in Sand Hollow.
That's right. That it can also take that stuff out. So, good point. If you've really rubbed a fender or a corner guard or something, one of your aluminum products, sometimes it will gall or get like a burr on it. You can knock that off with a file or something bigger, even if it's really bad, a flap wheel. But you can go back with the Scotch-Brite pad and it'll be invisible. So it's pretty cool. We make the fenders, those tubes that are on our fenders are extra thick. They're actually as thick as a corner guard would be, so they're 3/16 thick. And you got a bunch of material you can shave away and make it look right again. So you can keep your GenRight products looking 100%. Okay?
Okay, Matt McDonough asked, would you ever consider adding bypasses to the coilover setup for the Elite systems for more dampening? Or is that too much for the Jeep JK frame?
So it's actually too much for the packaging and we call packaging because you have so much to fit in a small area. So again, like I mentioned a minute ago, it's about concessions, right? So what did I do with that little light? Did I drop it around here? Because James, I want you to swing around and come over here. I just happen to have the wheel off on Terremoto. So part of what I want to show you is how much is going on inside here, right? There's no room for a sway bar. Because, when you run a big tire, that sucker's coming all the way in here. You got your track bar mount, you got your bump stop, you got your shock. Then the tire comes the other way, turning into here. So what happens is, and I don't like this because I feel like you guys are being sold the bill of goods every time I get a question like this. The other manufacturers out there, hang on, the other manufacturers out there are doing you a disservice because what they do is they sell you a little tiny 2.0 coilover and then they put like a little tiny bypass shock right behind it so that you can see in your fender well that you have a coilover and a bypass. Well, they're junk compared to this. So this is a 3-inch diameter coilover with internal bypass that I personally set the valving on. This is my spec, front and rear. They're made for a Jeep with GenRight suspension, even better. So this is literally the best you can get. And I travel around the country proving it over and over again for the last 20 years. Okay, this is what you want. And I don't know why I have so much trouble trying to get that through people's head, but you combine this with a hydraulic bump stop, or air bump as a lot of people call it, man, you've got just an incredible combination. And for anybody who's watching that's ever ridden in one of our vehicles, especially this one, they'll vouch for it's unbelievable. So
that's what I was gonna say. In the 12 years I've been here and since Terremoto was done, no one's ever gotten out and been like, It's okay.
Right.
Like everyone's like,
Oh my God.
like
Yeah.
this thing is sick.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys can hear Jamie, but he's saying for all the rides I've given that he's witnessed people getting out, that every single one gets out and just like, whoa, man, that thing's awesome. So nobody gets out and goes, oh, it was okay. Never, never. So yeah, so when we talk about packaging, this is what we're talking about. You've got a small amount of space to fit everything you need in the proper location, okay? Can somebody smash a bunch of stuff in here? They can, but it's going to be inferior. It's going to be the wrong geometry. It's going to be, you're making concessions for something that you think is what you want. This is a big part of, actually, let me back up. I learned when we were racing that I needed to trust the people that knew more than I did, right? So when it came to shocks or it came to brakes or it came to, the different components, instead of me saying, this is what I want, I needed to ask them, like, what do you think I should have? I'm experiencing this, and then I had to trust that information. Okay, that's a big difference. And in this case, you're talking to somebody who's an expert in this, and you have to trust what I'm saying. And now, I mean, obviously you don't have to. You can go do whatever you feel like, but it's a shame. I'll tell you what, if somebody I looked up to said, Tony, this is what you need to do, I'd do it without question. Like, why would I want to beat my head on the wall trying to figure it out when somebody can already tell me what the answer is? So.
Okay, Zenline Zipline says, TJ,
Yeah,
if I go to
let's go back
King
over.
coilovers, can I eliminate the rear sway bar but keep the front one? My Jeep will see 90% road, 10% off-road, and will have a single triangulated rear.
Okay, so I would actually do the exact opposite. I would ditch the front sway bar and I would do only our GenRight rear sway bar. If you've not been over to our website, you need to go over to our website, look at our TJ rear sway bar, and watch the video. I've got a video of it going around a corner and then going around a corner again with our sway bar, and the thing handles like a Ferrari. So, and still gives you that off-road performance that you're looking for. So, but.
And he says, and to add to my previous question about eliminating a rear sway bar, if I eliminate it, should I go with 2.5-inch coilovers? Will they give me daily driving stability over a 2.0?
Okay, so the size of the coilover, even if you went to a 5-inch coilover, does not matter, okay? It's the mounting location. So did you get it right? Are you using my stuff and mounting them where we say, or are you just winging it and throwing them in there? If you don't do it like we say, it's not going to work. We see it over and over again. So, okay. All right, more questions?
Let's see.
I'm going to come back over and talk about events for a minute.
Michael says, I feel called out, too. I only have 2.0 on my DJ.
No,
I feel called out with my 2.0 coilover.
But no, by the way, many of the Jeeps that we wheeled for years had 2.0s, and they were fast and did everything. It's all about the mounting location. So, okay.
Tony, say hi today.
For who? Made? You're cutting out on me. Oh, I might have lost her. Okay. I want to talk about events for a minute. Let's see. Next up, I'm not sure that we're going to make a Desert Splash. It's on my list that I want to get out there. I love that event. I love going to the Desert Bar. A lot of nice people. It's right there in Parker, Arizona. And then after that is the /X Bash. And of course, we've got our local Jeep nights that we do every third Friday. The next big one for us is the GenRight Turkey Run. So that's out at Johnson Valley, or otherwise known as the Hammers. And that is a fantastic event. That's one that you can come and wheel, you can come and ride along, you can come for a day, you can come for the entire time. Doesn't matter to us. I don't know if you've ever heard me say, but I don't do anything that sucks. that is one of the best things we do. Everybody that works here, that is the event they look forward to all year, to get out to the hammers and we'll actually wheel like 1,000 miles that week. So we're putting in a lot of miles. Like it's amazing to get out there and do that. And then of course we've got a schedule right now, a snow wheeling trip, which it started to snow yesterday, but I'm not sure the snow will stick around. And then of course our parade of lights. So, all right, what else you got there, Jen?
Well, I now dropped the call and lost signal and can't see the comment.
Oh, okay. Well, we're at the end of the show. We're a little after 6 o'clock. So I'm going to wrap it up. And,
Okay.
all right.
Bobby says hi.
Okay. Hi, Mate. All right, everybody.
How are you?
I'm doing good. We got a live audience. Okay.
All right. That was a
So,
little rough, but we made it.
thanks, everybody. Till next time, have a good rest of the week.